Hey guys, it's Viren here from Creative Jungl, and I'm back again with another video to talk about creative thinking and the business of creativity. So the reason I want to focus on Andrew Schulz is because not only is he a phenomenal comedian, but he's taken notice of Apple's model of own the whole ecosystem, and he's really applied it to the comedy industry. Up until now, there was really two ways that comedians could make it. First was get a TV special with a big TV network like HBO, Comedy Dynamics, and now Netflix. The second was get sitcoms and do movies, much like Robin Williams or Kevin Hart. This model made sense, but by doing this, that meant there was a lot of gatekeepers along the line. And what I mean by that is the comedian would come up with the material, but then their agent would need to book them. The comedy clubs would need to allow them to actually perform and refine their material. And then the TV networks or movie studios would actually give them access to distribution and to a wider audience. And that was the value chain in terms of delivering comedy. This has changed in the last decade. We've seen things like YouTube and obviously social media. And guys like Joe Rogan, who's a prominent stand-up comedian, has really shown the way to other comedians as to how important having your own podcast is. Now, of course, Andrew Schulz, as being an up-and-coming comedian, noticed this, and he doubled down on this idea of really focusing on social media to build your own loyal audience. But the thing that he did that took it one step further was really figuring out, how do I disrupt this model of getting a special or getting a TV show? His aim was really, like I said, to look at comedy the same way Apple does to technology and really own the whole ecosystem. He built a collective of comedians, writers, videographers, everyone that typically, you would get along that value chain of comedy. He brought them together as a collective that could support each other and help build each other's careers.
Al has worked tirelessly for how long now? A couple years?
Yeah.
Maybe a couple years. And I always told him, if I get something, you get something. You never have to worry about that. I didn't want Al to feel like he was forgotten and his dedication was forgotten, because without the work he does for me, all this stuff couldn't be possible. So we had to bless Al with his first rollie. That really had to happen.
Now that was important for one reason. Because when it came time for him to actually start developing his own special, he realized that actually, I don't need all these people in the value chain.
I had a manager, she was really sweet, one of these big management companies, and I just said to her, I don't need you to tell me where to be. I don't need you to introduce me to someone, because I'll DM them. There's nothing you could do. You know what I'm saying? There's no barrier anymore. So like, if your business model is you're gonna be the liaison between two people, and now my phone is that, you've just made yourself obsolete.
Right.
So what he did was quite a rogue and quite a brazen move. He released his first few specials completely for free on YouTube. Now, he shot it himself with his collective team. He wrote the content himself, which was incredible content, and he distributed it and marketed it himself using social media. Now, what this did was it created so much PR towards his comedy specials, because quite frankly, the industry was very much controlled by HBO, Netflix, these guys who give you a special and then market it for you as well. Just a quick note from our brand partners, Mortimer House. That's actually where we're shooting all of these videos today, and they're also our partners on all of our Creative Jungl events. Mortimer House is a members club built specifically for creative entrepreneurs. It's in the heart of London, where you can create, you can meet other creators. So yeah, guys, check it out and let them know that Creative Jungl sent you. So no one had heard of people releasing their best material for free. It just didn't make sense. But because of that, it drove so much traffic and so much awareness to what he was doing. The great thing about this, and I'm sure he knew that this would happen, was that because his comedy was great, people landed on it, watched it, and then they realized that this guy is actually a really great comedian. So what happened was, on the back end of that, for his second comedy special, the big guys approached him. Netflix approached him, Comedy Dynamics approached him and said, listen, we want to pay you for your next special.
We were the ones that put together the content. We still do that. Now we do the content. We have a platform if we want, YouTube, right? Or Twitter, Instagram, all these other things. We could shoot it if we want. I do it every single weekend with my guys, and we have the people. So if you want me to go on your network, the pay structure got to be totally different.
He got 7 figures for his second special that he put out with them. Now, just consider that, going from putting out comedy specials for free on YouTube to getting paid 7 figures for one special on one of these platforms. And still, he owns all the creative, he owns all the rights and everything like that, and he still owns the audience. He hasn't stopped there. He's recently built Schulz Studios in New York City.
It's pretty cool. So we have one studio right here that we're shooting Flare into in right now. We got another generic podcast studio in the back. That's so we can help develop new podcasters. There's friends of ours that want to step up their podcast game.
Now this is really thinking ahead and really thinking, like I said, in the way that Apple thinks about it. He owns everything from end to end, from the content creation to the distribution and the whole audience. This really represents what Creative Jungl is all about, really applying a business brain to a creative space. And I think Andrew Schulz mirrors that entirely. So I really, really recommend you check out his stuff. He has one podcast with Charlemagne the God called The Brilliant Idiot. He has another podcast called Flagrant 2 with his other comedian friends. Like I said, his early specials are all on YouTube completely for free. You can go and check it out. But really take a keen interest in how he's building the business model of comedy and revolutionizing this space. So hopefully you found that video useful and interesting. And I really look forward to seeing you at our next event.
We're not destroying the industry. We're just shaking it up so that we can work together in a better way because we're doing more than we did before.
Right. It's not fuck them. It's, hey, let's fuck with each other. Like, let's not fuck them. Yeah. It's not